All right, I want to quickly talk about my dissertation alignment document, and my name is Femi Ilyasu. So, my dual topic area is the relationship between standardized instructional coaching, a form of early childhood teacher professional development, and the quality of early childhood education with a specific focus on early childhood education in Nigeria. So, what are the background to these studies? They are divided into various sections, and the society need is uh, like much of sub-Saharan Africa, Nigeria faces a documented and persistent gap in early childhood quality, with many young children, attending classroom and they lack consistent, effective teaching practice. So this according to Woodbury and Binga Akomo. Let's see the beginning. Early thinking on instructional coaching grew up of broader associated and adult learning tradition with aid that teachers develop new instruction skill more effective when supported directly within their own classroom content than through detached training. So, what are the involving research? This early emphasis on content-blended learning involved into district and growing body of coaching research with systematic review now document coaching association with measurable improvement in teacher instructional practice across the range setting. Also, the current research also make us to read specifically that examine how coaching is associated with both teacher instructional practice and children development outcomes and producing standardized classroom quality instruments, just like the World Bank Teach ESC to ACC. So let's see the current research of the society needs. They go alongside Nigerian document ESC gap. This current research based support testing whether standardized instructional coaching already associated with improved teaching practice elsewhere, where it's similarly associated with teaching quality and early learning outcomes within Nigeria early childhood education. For this, situated learning theory is identified as this guiding framework for the study, as it explains why coaching delivered inside the authentic classroom content is associated with more effective changes in teaching practice than documented training. So let's see some gaps we have to quickly look about. The one from Yang and Sujin S. Lee 2022 said that this systematic review synthesized finding across multiple study examine coaching's relation to both teacher instructional practice and child development outcome in early childhood setting. Finding consistent evidence that coaching improves teacher practice. That's for them. And the recommendation stroke limitation is that additionally, you shall direct testing the pathway from coaching to teaching practice to child outcome, and noted that most included studies were conducted in higher income setting. So we are not see low and middle income countries, right? So the tie-in is that it directly informed the current study three-question design, which takes coaching relationship to both teaching quality and early learning outcomes in Nigeria rather than in high income context. The number two talks about the narrative review, examine the theoretical foundation underlying coaching research in early childhood education and found that a substantial portion of existing study did not explicitly name or test a guiding theoretical framework. And they also recommended limitation, future coaches study, explicitly identify and apply a theoretical framework to strengthen the interpretability and cumulative value of the finding. The time is that it directly shaped the decision to build the current study around the name theoretical, which is situated learning, rather than treating coaching as a self-evident intervention. Okay, so the third research, they find out that government commitment and teaching strategy related to early childhood education quality in sub-West Nigeria and found considerable variability in teaching strategy instruction quality across the sample school. Let's see their recommendation, the limitation. They already have further empirical investigation into intervention capable of improving teaching quality in Nigeria early childhood setting, noting that their study described existing conditions but did not test any specific intervention. So those are the gaps. The theoretical foundation for this study will be situated learning theory, which is associated with the concept of learning as embedded within authentic communities of practice, applied to coaching. The theory holds that teachers acquire and refine instructional skill most effectively through guided participation in their own classroom content rather than through documentation training. So the component is the framework core components are authentic content, which are the coaching occurring inside the classroom, teacher own classroom, guided participation, the structured modeling, and the feedback from more experienced coach, and a gradual shift towards independent practice as the teacher skills. So the review, literature review with some cues. The guiding theory for this study, I've already said, is situated learning theory associated with teaching concept of learning as embedded within authentic, so as applied to coaching, the framework core component are just like I said. So the summary of this, that across this thing, the literature established that coaching is associated with improved teaching practice. That validated instruments now exist to measure both teaching quality and child learning outcome context in a country like Nigeria. My problem statement, it is not known whether and to what extent the level of implementation of standardized instructional coaching pedagogy predicts teaching quality and early learning outcome in early childhood education in Nigeria. It is not known. So we have the research question: to what extent, if any, does the level of implementation of standardized instructional coaching predict teaching quality among childhood in Nigeria? To what extent the quality teaching also predict early outcome among children in early childhood classroom in Nigeria? And to what extent, if any, does the level of implementation standardized instructional coaching pedagogy predict early learning outcome among children in early childhood classroom in Nigeria when accounting for teaching quality quantity? Well, the third one might not be necessary. So these are the variables and the hypothesis that I developed. The predicting, that is the independent variable, and the dependent variable. I have their hypothesis right here, but because of my time, I may not be able to say it out. So the location for the study is southwestern Nigeria, that is the Lagos, Ogun, and Oyo. These are the regions with documented variability in the quality of early childhood education. Actually, there's also Kwara State, which can also be added to it. And the population, they are just the early childhood teacher, the early childhood teacher, the pre-learning teacher, and children in their classroom across this public and private early childhood school in Nigeria. And the target population will be early childhood teacher currently teaching or participating in standardized instructional coaching program in private and public school in the Southern West. And the children. The sample will be a prior power analysis for ARICA multiple regression with two predictors. I've already mentioned that one earlier on. So, and the methodology, of course, it's a quantitative. It's going to be a quantitative because the problem statement concerns the existence and the strength of a relationship among measurable variables rather than the mini individual make of an experience. So, and design is not experimental predictive correlational design. So, collection of data is going to be in three phases. The instructional review, after that one has been done from the school, then I will now go through other, like the trained certified observer, which are the teacher we conduct through the teaching early childhood education classroom observation using the two standardized observation protocol to generate teaching quality scores. Well, I am not really sure about this, but I know this can also be just like a professor said. Early learning outcome data will be collected last through individual. I'm so sure of this one-on-one ideally assistant administered directly to children by trained assessor. So identify data analysis. Before hypothesis tested, we have the mean standard deviation ranges will be computed for all these three variables, and regression assumption will be done for the reliability and validity. So all hypotheses will be tested at an alpha level of 0.5 with standardized beta coefficients. Yeah. So my purpose, the purpose statement, the purpose of this quantitative non-experimental predictive correlational study is to examine the extent to which the level of implementation of standardized instructional coaching pedagogy predicts teaching quality and early learning outcome among these children, among early childhood teachers and children in early childhood school in southwest Nigeria. So that is my so the feedback and the again, well, so far so good. The feedback has really been helpful. Just like we said it in class today, it's been stretching, it's been strengthening, it's been adding values to my dissertation journey, and I can say I'm developing, I'm growing up in knowing what it is to be a doctoral student. So the feedback has really been helpful, even though it has been so tough and time consuming, and that's what PhD journey is all about. So, well, this knowledge will assist teacher and other researcher in recognizing the reasons that contribute to the problem, integration, adoption, and adaptation of standardized coaching pedagogy for more effective instruction for children. I mean, it's going to help children, early childhood teachers, the instruction, the educators, the policy holder, and all in Nigeria. So, and it's going to help for more researcher to develop another gap and to know what else to do. Thank you so much for having me. Thank you so much.